Run the World by Beyonce. Woo! I'm all about that. That particular song, I love it because it celebrates women. It celebrates the power of women. And that song is all about breaking barriers. Now, did Beyonce do that? Yes, well beyond what any of us have done. But her song talks about women's leadership. It talks about independence, the strength and resilience and leadership. The lyrics convey that power of a female spirit. It talks about strong enough to bear the children and get back to business. Do we know that? It talks about hold your head up high, fingers in the sky. And it talks about being smart enough to make the millions and having my persuasion to build a nation of dedication. Those are courageous words. Those are words of confidence. And those are characteristics that were inbred in me very young, at a very young age. For me, I wanted to be an ice skater at age 8. I decided I want to do that. I wanted to be an ice skater and be out and perform. My parents were divorced. My father, a CPA with Anderson, had relocated to Saudi Arabia. My mother, now a single mother, 2 children with no outside support. My mother always found a way to say yes to anything that she thought would bring us courage and strength, anything that she thought would teach us something that would be a life skill. So she did. She said yes. She put me in ice skating lessons. Then she got me a private coach. And then before I knew it, I spent 9 years, 4 days a week, skating before school, competing across the country. And that provided me an opportunity to succeed, an opportunity to really feel that defeat, but also sometimes to win. And through that, I got the opportunity to feel that spirit and challenge of success. That challenge of success then bred to what I knew today. I can fall down, I can get back up, I can try again, and ultimately I'll succeed. Early in my life, I learned that, and I lived that for years. And I live that every day in my career. I get up every day and try again, and succeed. So for women in public accounting and in the accounting profession, how do we? First, survive. And second, gain that success that we desire. How do we do that? So to be successful, first of all, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to know what fuels you. And then you have to know where you're going and what success looks like to you. And that's different for each person, but what does success look like for you? So someone once told me that the only person responsible for your happiness is you. The only person responsible for your success is you. You put yourself there. So when we talk about success for women in the public accounting or the accounting profession, we talk about breaking barriers. Here's my advice to you. First, know yourself. Really get to know yourself. Understand what your strengths are. Understand what fuels you, but also understand what your weaknesses are and what drains you. And your goal is to look for those opportunities that lean into your strengths and to find ways to build teams, surround yourself with others who you can rely on for those things that drain you or just disinterest you. We look for those opportunities and we look for ways to find our strengths. We all do that already. It's a pretty basic concept. Are we all already doing that? But then you have to ask your question, is it working? Is it working well for yourself? Have you been authentic to yourself? Because the real way to do this is to truly be introspective. Understand what you enjoy, what you want to succeed at, and what you don't enjoy and what you don't want to succeed at. And being willing to talk about it and being vulnerable with others. That's what it takes for you to build your own path. Second, dream a little bit. Like, where do you want to be? What does success look like to you? Where do you want to be today, tomorrow, and in the future? And how do you get there? Where's your career today? In 5 years, will it be in the same place, or in 10 years? It's not a direct path. Everyone has to stand on one level for a while to move to the next level, right? And for me, I was very fortunate that I was able to have multiple paths in a career without changing job over job. That's my advantage. So when I got to Weaver, it was through a merger. And many of you know I've been at Weaver now about 30 years. It's a long time. But I got there through a merger shortly after having joined a small accounting firm in Dallas. I didn't start there. I started my career working for my father's CPA firm. It was instructed to me, you shall do this to go to college. So I started working for my dad's CPA firm early in college. Through that, I worked for Anderson. I got great training. With my dad's direction, I joined the AICPA. I got involved in the TXCPA. I built relationships very early. And by the age of 22, I was a shareholder in this small 3-partner firm. At 24, I got an opportunity to be a corporate controller of a public company, and I took it. And that was an epic fail. It was terrible. I quickly knew that I needed to be in client service. I wanted to be in client service. So I got to know myself. And after a year and a half, I finally found a place to go. I networked myself into joining Gary Hoffman. Gary was the then president of the Texas Society of CPAs. He allowed me to join his firm, and we together were going to build a business services practice, early days of consulting. And then we merged into Weaver. And so I had to build a new path. I used what I had learned, and I charted that new path and built that new path, and that is where I am today. That's how I got to where I am today. So really the hard part is finding your path. What path are you on? Is that the path that's going to lead you to the next place? Maybe, maybe not. But your path to success is where you will start, and it will not be where you end. You're not going to do it alone. I didn't do it alone. In order to be successful, you have to have advocates and sponsors. I've had a lot of great advocates, some of which I've had to ask for help, and some of which have adopted me. That's where I came from, and that's what I've asked for to get where I am today. So I share this because it's all about courage. What we just heard from Aiko, courage. And that takes confidence. And that's really self-confidence, which I learned early as an ice skater and have brought that through my entire life. But in order to be successful in our profession, it's not about an individual sport. It's not an individual sport, it's a team sport. We all know that. We work together, we succeed together, sometimes we fail together, and we move on. And so really, it's about having the confidence in yourself and your abilities, but it's also about being able to confidently build a team of others that balance out and that you can work together, succeed together, and then, in our profession, adapt and overcome the turnover that we experience and continue to build those relationships when people come in and as people go out. Because this is all about success for you and success for those who depend on you and who work with you. And so I would say have courage, like we saw today. Lean into your defeats, continue to try, succeed, and ultimately get up and succeed a second time. But the path you're on is only the path to where you're going. So for everyone that is seeking to be a strong, successful female breaking barriers in public accounting, I would encourage you to ask two things. First, what are your self-imposed internal barriers? And then second, what are the culturally imposed barriers? And once you know those two things, find out how you can chart a path to overcome those barriers. Thank you.